Yes, peeps, how is everyone doing today? Yes, I'm sat down because it's warmer. I'm comfy, to be honest. But anyway, hope everyone's good after the result the other day or yesterday. Um, Much better. It's more like it, isn't it? But we'll get into the analysis in a bit in the game as we go through it, as we usually do. But yeah, let's just get straight into the player ratings and the match analysis. Let's go. And as usual, we will start off with the goalkeeper. Face we're probably not expecting to see. Larson was in net yesterday. How did he do? A lot of questions, I guess. A lot of people saying a lot of things. Now he's kept a clean sheet. He had one save to make. Really, he made it. And if you actually watch that back, he took a deflection off Liam Cooper. Hence why it looked less orthodox and it went the other way because it actually got deflected into him. He had to readjust. So he readjusted quite well. Go watch that back. You can see it takes a deflection. But it's a good save. It's what he had to do, and he did it. And there was a one-on-one as well. I know it was offside, I believe, right? Can't remember. It was an offside or a corner, one of the two. But he did get a touch on that, and he came out well. He stood up well and did well. His distribution was fine, nothing special, nothing bad. But there's a bit of a nervousness giving him the ball. Evidently, it's not the guy you're used to having there. It's not the usual person. It's a different player. So there's a bit of a hesitation at times to give it to a different player that you don't really know. So did well for me, did well in that sense. Did well, had a decent game, he was fine. Nothing to criticise there. Played decent. Whether it's in Mardal or next game, it doesn't matter because I still think Elon Mesley is coming straight back in when he's fit. But good for him, good for us. Yeah, solid 6. Not much to do, to be honest. It's hard to give them more when they don't do well. You know what I mean? So, fullbacks. Now, Archgray real quick. I know this might seem harsh, but again, this is I can't give a player a high rating when they're not necessarily massively involved. I think defensively, he didn't have that much to do. If I'm being honest, can't remember who they played on that side, but used Dembele. He switched to the other side, I believe, a lot of the time, and Dembele was quiet. So whoever was there, Archgray did an excellent job defensively, but I don't think he actually had many duels defensively, from what I remember. I remember him progressing the ball well. There was once or twice where he did run into traffic and give it away, hence why it's not on the 7. But it's unbelievable. He's Archie. What a talent. Talk about him every week, so we'll move on. Unbelievable talent. Keep going for me. And yeah, look, I know people talk about. I'll talk about it real quick. People talking about Jed Spence and all this stuff. And there is a thing in football where there's a loyalty there to a player that has done the job for you already and shown that he's at the level you need. Right, and it's for that other guy to get in. You can't just get into a team purely based on your name and what you did a few years ago, because the fact is that was a few years ago. There's no proof that you are still that player. You have to prove that in training. If Daniel Farke was choosing Archie Gray over Jed Spence in training, it's because he's performing better or more to what he needs, or they're performing at a similar level, but Jed Spence simply isn't doing that extra to overtake Archgray. I know he had a bad game the other day, but the impacts of Spence clearly isn't enough for Daniel Farke to change his mind consistently. And then you've also got to consider as well, slightly, when they're both doing fine, Archgray is our player. He's a young player. He has the value. He has the talent. And he's good enough, in my opinion. People complain about him. I think it's ridiculous. If I'm being honest, that's just me. I think he's been fantastic all season, bar 1 or 2 games and a half. Judy Fairport, what can I say, man? You know what? Like, I'm not. And let me just clarify this. People think I'm naive, stuff like this, just because I don't mention everything, and I'm not. I'm not resenting the past. I know he's never been fully available and fit for a long period of time for Leeds United, and a lot of the time he wasn't good enough defensively, and he still isn't because that's not the player he is. He's not a great defender. I do think he's slightly improved. The level's a lot worse, so probably not. But he looks slightly better, obviously, because the level's lower in defensive. But he did get beat once or twice. It's getting to the wrong side of his man often, which is frustrating. Little things like that, stupid fouls because he's on the wrong side of the attacker a lot of the time. That's him at this point, and I'm not people. You You can't finger play. So it's only been one game, yes, but that was the last game, and that's what I'm taking the merit on, because that's performance that leads into the next game. It's the performance from the last game, right? Guy comes on and scores 3 goals, right? Play him in the next game, even if he's been rubbish for 2 years. He scored 3 goals. He's playing. Best believe, right? That's how it works. And did well. And while Sam Byram's injured, and until we do get a left back, which I still really hope we do, because let's be honest, Junior Firpo is an injury away at any second. I've been out for 5 or 6 weeks, and it happens constantly. He's not reliable in that sense. Going forward, the guy's got 2 assists yesterday. And was a massive threat, an extra option down that side. The balance was so much better with him there as opposed to Jed Spence, who is right-footed, right? Naturally. I thought it looked good. Going forward, the movements just decent. He's got 2 assists in a game against a poor side, and everyone keeps telling me this. Of course, you know that as a player, you're playing a poor team, but as a player, you've won a game, you've got 3 points. I can't stress the importance of camaraderie of a team when you get 3 points. You don't care who you play. You know now, right, we've got that, we've done that, let's push on from that. It's not a matter of, we've got 3 points, yeah, but we can't be happy because we're rubbish. No, that professional athletes don't work like that. They'll take any win against 90-year-olds. They'll take it. It's a win. It's confidence. It's good. Let's build on that and understand that it's going to be tougher, and understand that we have to up our levels. It's going to be harder. That's the important side of it. It's not a bad thing. It's not we need to be careful. No. We need to just understand that we're elite athletes, and we're going to be up against a better side next week. Perform the way we did against them and up the levels when they up their levels, we'll be fine. Junior Firpo came in, got 2 assists, really good attacking threat. Obviously, it's Junior Firpo in defending. He's an attacking fullback, that's what he is. Will he stay fit? Hopefully. Until at least we get a left back who is fit and can actually play every week, because I'm so worried about these 2 left backs, they're never fit. But yeah, 7.5 was really good yesterday from an attacking sense. Really impacted the game for me when he came on. Liam Cooper, I'll be quickly on Liam. It's good. So, honestly, I don't care what anyone says. People have agendas against these guys. It's the fact that whenever you mention Liam, it's always with the old guard. I just want to mention them as an individual, as that individual player. People say Liam's passed it just like Ayling and Bamford. And I'll just talk about him as an individual. I just want to talk about Liam Cooper, the man, the footballer, the centre-back. Early on, got often too tight to his midfielder. Obviously, didn't want them to, in transition, didn't want them to progress, right? That was the aim. Get tight to him, don't let him turn, don't let him come at us. It worked once or twice, but he did get beat 2 or 3 times. That was part of it. However, aerially in the air, he won a lot. He was very good in the air, and positionally and playing out from the back. His passing was decent as well. He does his usual things that you worry, that you get scared of every now and again, that Liam has in his play, but it's fine. And look, and again, Liam is coming in for Pascal Struijk, right? Because he's injured. Hopefully he's back next. If he's not, against Peterborough, I don't know if he'll play anyway, but against Cardiff the week after, he's got an extra week. So hopefully he's back for the Cardiff game. And if he's not, Liam Cooper is good enough with Rodon as a partnership to get a result from Cardiff. Right. It was fine. 6.5, nothing special from Liam, but just a solid, fine performance. Adjusted his game slightly to play a little bit deeper after that. Got a little more cover. But he doesn't... Look, the partnership is a partnership. A partnership complement each other. That's the point of a partnership. A good partnership complement each other. If one guy gets a little tight and leaves space in behind, that's where you need a guy with excellent reading of the game and excellent recovery. This guy over there has that in abundance. Joe Rodon was outstanding yesterday. I'd honestly probably give him a 9. I just didn't want to, because I'm harsh. He was brilliant. When Liam Cooper's in trouble, you have a player in Joe Rodon who can help him out. And that's what you need. That's the partnership. Same with Pascal. Happens to Pascal as well. Now, I'm not blind to that. It happens to Pascal. Pascal is excellent for 99% of the game. But there's 1 to 2 times in games where there's a really quick winger and it goes in and around him and he's not got that pace. And this guy over there comes in and sweeps it up. Does it every game. Underrated. Massively underrated in this league. I keep seeing these team ratings rubbish, from who scored or whatever it is. I'm not saying they're rubbish just because he's not in it. And he's never in it. And that proves to me, look, don't rely on them. I don't care if our players are not in it. Don't care. I'm glad he's underrated. Means his value might be lower. He's better than all of them in there. I'm sorry, he is. I think he's brilliant. I really do. I think he's the best. One of the best centre backs in the league, and he's massively underrated. And I'll say this. I hate to say this. Don't go up. He won't stay. I think he'll be in the Premier League next year. Played in the Premier League for Tottenham, too high a level, didn't work. Came down to us. Too easy in this league for him. It is, on the most part, too easy. We'll play higher next year. Hopefully we go up and we can discuss that. Don't think he'll be in the Championship next season. Sorry. Neither will we. Anyway, the midfielders. I don't know what you're thinking. This might be harsh. But I thought they were fine. I don't think it was a game where they had to dominate because on the ball in the midfield, I like Sionic, but he didn't have anything in there that he could maybe grasp in the game. There was nothing really he could do more than defend because they didn't really break. When they broke, they tried to break wide and overload out wide. He didn't have much to do, so these guys had quite a simple day and they did the job quite effectively. I thought Kamara, and you could see it in his face, his pass detail. It's a little slow. 3 or 4 of his first passes were very slow. Didn't quite go into the path. The wingers or the player had to retreat a little bit, and he got annoyed with it. And he's usually better than that. His pass detail's usually spot on. It was a little off at the start of the game yesterday, and I think he needs to be a bit more progressive. I know it's not his role, but there is times when there's an obvious forward pass into a half space where he just hesitates. And it's them little moments that make him a 6 to an 8, because when he's an 8, it's brilliant. It just needs to play more as an 8 at times when he's in that role. He plays sort of advanced, but as a 6 sometimes, if that makes sense. He needs to play as an 8 when he's in the 8 position, and his rating will get higher. So 6, because he can be a lot better. He can be a lot more effective in the way he passes, both pass detail and decision. And Ampadu is Ampadu. But I'm not giving Ampadu higher than a 7 unless he's Ampadu higher than a 7, because this guy's ultra consistent. So a 7's still pretty good. He did everything Ampadu does. I'm not going to keep going on about Ampadu every week. He's brilliant. Can't shoot, though. He can't shoot. Ampadu, come on. I'll tell you what. I'm calling it. Touch wood. Last game of the season is against Southampton. I'm calling it now. That is going to be the decider for second. Well, what am I doing? Anyway, I'm having a bit of fun. I don't care. We won. We're going to win that game by 1 goal. And Ethan Ampadu's going to get it. If that doesn't happen, don't come back. If that does happen, come back to this right now. Ampadu is scoring the winning goal to take us up. That's ridiculous. Anyway, the attackers. Chris Somerville. I'm going to talk about this guy above me. Talk about Cree real quick, because Cree gets limelight every week. Cree was fine. Excellent goal. Was crowded out a lot, and I still think as a team that's something we have to work on. Because teams are now slowly, but for a lot of the game, crowding him out. He's still brilliant, and he'll still destroy you in 1 or 2 moments, hence the goal, and hence a few other moments in the second half and in the first. But he's just another solid top performance from Cree, and he's ridiculous. Player in it. He's a joke. He's an absolute joke of a player. 7 out of 10. Another goal. Dan James. I'm going to say this. He's slowly one of my favourite players. Not even slowly. Do you know why? Because he's not perfect. And I love that. I do. I like the fact... this is wild. I like the fact at times that he can't shoot, that it goes 18 yards over the bar. Because that's who he is, right? Do you know what I mean? That's the player he is. And that's why he's perfect for this system right now. You know, he works so hard. I know people don't like that. People think it's all hype merchant stuff or whatever. It isn't. Work for any football team in the world. You've got a player that don't work hard. You know, the other players will be on him every day. If you have a player that works extremely hard, the players will say nothing to him when he has a bad game, because they know what it's like. They don't know what it's like to work as hard as he does. And he works extremely hard. Extremely hard. And it's effective as well. That's the important thing. He doesn't just run around like a silly boy. He's effective. Extremely effective. His tracking back is excellent. His desire to get to it as well. gets the ball, he drives forward with it. His 1v1 stuff, he's getting better. He destroyed that fullback 2 or 3 times, that left back 2 or 3 times. Destroyed him. Good delivery. Excellent assist. Brilliant. He is brilliant. Look, he should have scored 3. But if Dan James had that consistent at the end, he would not be in the Championship because if there's a winger that's as quick as him and gets in as good positions as him, who could finish extremely consistently, he'd be a top, right? That's what I like about him. That's his little thing about Dan James. It's either going in or it's going 30 yards over the bar, or he'll completely just swipe it and miss. I love it. Yeah, he was brilliant yesterday. He's a really good player. I like Dan James. I really do. There's always questions about if we get to the Premier League, or what I will say right now, if we did get back up to the Premier League, regardless of what he's playing like now, I think the confidence and the way he's been coached just makes him a better player. Of course, I think when we get to the Premier League, we need to invest heavily in an elite winger. Elite. I'm talking, what we did do in the past type winger. A proper winger who's destroyed one of the top leagues. I'm talking 20, 30 million pounds on a winger. That's what I want. Dan James isn't in this mindset he's in now, in the way he's progressed this season, his positional play, his end product, which is better. This is his best season in terms of end product, and we're halfway through it. This type of Dan James is an excellent squad option in the Premier League. But I even think the same for Cree. I want competition. If we did go up, I want competition for both these guys, because wingers in the Premier League are insane. Every team in the Prem has unbelievable wingers. It's so important to have good wingers. We knew that. We had one of the best wingers for 2 years. Since there, if he didn't get injured when he played, when he was fit, was an unbelievable winger in the Premier League. We had good wingers. I want a lot of competition in that space. But these two were brilliant again. Dan James is brilliant. What a player. Final 2. These 2 lads. Talk about Gio in a minute. I want to talk about Paddy. This is all about perspective. So I'm not saying people that say this are wrong, because they are simply not. Categorically not wrong. They're not. There's a reason why I don't say I want this player gone. And that's perspective. Right? From working in football, I can't physically do that because I feel I'm letting that player down. Even though I don't work for Leeds, it's kind of like a mindset thing that if I have that mindset here, that might creep into when I work. And if a player's playing bad, I'm like, oh, get rid of him. I can't do that. It's why is it not working? What's going wrong, and why is it bad? That's me. There's other people that would be above me who would say, not working, not good enough. Good. I don't make that decision at my current, where I'm at in terms of the football kind of coaching staff. I'm the one that suggests, well, what is wrong with this player? How can we make this player better? Coach decides, not good enough. And I go, okay. That's it. So Patrick Bamford has had a horrid 2 years on the pitch. He's not scored. When he's had chances, he's missed them, he's swiped at them. He's not been confident at all. He's genuinely looked like a player who's not enjoying playing football. This player who's been through a lot of criticism. Criticism's fine, but it's criticism when they played a game, he's been on 10 minutes and he's getting more criticised than any of the players that lost that game for you before he came on. It's stuff like that. I hate it. It just angers me. People don't leave him alone at times. It does me head in. But having said that, he's not been good enough. He hasn't. And he knows that. And everything, every single thing from a striker's perspective, and I've seen strikers that have not scored in a while, the second they get that goal, everything they've worried about in the last 2 years just suddenly feels like possible to get out of. And I still strongly believe we need a 9 in January. I do. I think we need number 9. Again, Patrick Bamford's record in terms of injuries is terrible. Again, we don't know if this is going to be a constant thing now. Right? So we cannot rely on that. Just like Junior Firpo, we cannot rely on these players because they've shown we can't. We need to invest in position. Theo Jose isn't there yet. Got a lot of good things I love about his game, but we need to be patient with him. We need a guy who's a level above that. who could potentially challenge to start for Leeds. That's what we need. Goal scorer, guy who can really affect a game. And then you've got Bamford, and then you've got Perot and Joseph. Then you've got a good 4 options, and even Jorginho as a 5th. So he needs to stay deep, doesn't he? I'm so proud. I'm so happy he scored. I know people talk stuff. I'm fed up of it all. Like this, if you're bigging up Bamford, you forgetting about the past. I hate all that stuff. No, I'm not. Stop. Why do you think you know more than other people? You know, not the case. I'm bigging him up on his last performance because that's what I'm doing. And it annoys me because people actually say this on Twitter and on comments, a little amount. Bigging up a player on his last performance, which was excellent. He did what he needed to do as the 9 at Leeds United. When he played there, he allowed to stretch, which created so much space in midfield. He created brilliant passing angles, so we didn't have to rely on straight passes from Pirot and Rutter, who just sat in the exact same position so much times in the last game, which I showed in my previous video. Bamford was never, ever on the same line as Rutter, more than a second, ever, because he's a smart guy. He's a smart footballer. He knows where to make these runs. He knows how to occupy centre-backs. That's important. That's huge if you want to create space. Occupying a player so they can't leave their space to go into that space. And that space is where Jorginho Rutter came into it. So Patrick Bamford has never been that clinical player. We saw it in the Premier League where that season was ridiculous. It's still underrated. 17 goals and 6 assists in a Premier League season is a joke. Since then, we've not seen that consistency. He's had a lot of problems with injuries and form. A lot of them. And we can't rely on one goal to change that view. I'm aware of that. We need a 9. We do. But as of last game, Patrick Bamford did in the last game exactly what he needed to do in that game. And we looked a better team for it. We looked a much better team. Passing patterns were better. There were less straight passes. We could go more direct into him. He held the ball up well when he needed to. Going behind, he created space for Jorginho Rutter. That's what I need my number 9 to do. Problem is that number 9 is Patrick Bamford, and that number 9 is not efficient enough in terms of being fit to play. And then when he has come on, and it's hard to come on 10 minutes every game and try and impact it. People are using these rules for some players, they don't use them for others. It's difficult to come on and impact a game. He started his first, I believe. He's played really well. Again, the reliance thing. Let's not sleep on the fact that these players are not reliable, because they're not, for whatever reason. Injuries, form, they're not. But yesterday he was good. He scored a good goal, really good header. Good cross, good header, good movement to get in between the centre-backs. Good movement all game. Worked hard. Deserved. Happy for him. Very happy for him. Jorginho Rutter. FIFA Street. When I watch him, FIFA Street. Plays FIFA Street. He's having fun. He's having fun. He enjoys playing deeper, you can tell, because there's a guy in front of him and he thinks, oh yes, I'm getting it past you. When he's further up the pitch, he's got to hold guys off. You know, he's not about that. He can do it all right, but he doesn't want to do it. He wants to run at people. He wants to do his tricks. There's a lot of talk, and this is something in football, and it's not a criticism of a manager. It's just a preference. Some managers are really really disciplined in the sense that, you know, when he did that trick, he did that little amazing trick on the sidelines, and Farke said he needs to stop, he needs to respect the opponents. I get both sides of it. I was speaking to coach from college, shout out to you, Dan, shout out if you're watching that. And he messaged me saying, well, what came from that flick? And I went, well, he won a free kick. No, that's fine. But I get it. If you're doing that, nothing comes of it. What's the productivity of it? But then you look at the other side of it, that's who he is. You take that creative spark, and if anyone knows about it, it's the Uni team. You take that creative spark away from a player, they're a shell of themselves. So you have to line that balance of creativity and effectiveness. That's the important part. He does get carried away. There was one in the corner where he stood there. He's kind of just moving. I can't explain it, but he does a little bit. But that's him. And as long as it's effective, it's fine. It's when if he starts doing it and he starts getting complacent and forgetting about his core role in the team, which is create chances and build the play up, that's when it gets annoying. As a coach, fuming. Will allow these players to have fun. Not too much, because it's a serious game. And Daniel Farke said that as long as he's disciplined in off the ball is good, he's fine with him doing these things. As long as that doesn't slip, that's fine. He's not telling him to not do it. He's making sure if he does do it, make sure you're doing it right. He was brilliant yesterday. He's a top player. I just love him. Play him in that role because he's really good there. Sign a 9 so we have deep competition in that position of people that can score goals. So he's excellent in that role. He's really good. I do think we need a creative 8/10 player that can be real creative. Not necessarily a 10, but an 8/10. Creative 8. Amira, for example, was that type of player. I'm not saying we're going to get him because he sacked us off, so probably not. But that type. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Got to level this up for the next game. Got to keep leveling it up. We cannot stall here. Back it up and keep leveling up. Confidence for us? Yeah? Let's keep leveling it up. Appreciate all support. I'll see you in the next one.